my dear students, welcome to Teacher at Home. Today class we are going to learn the third chapter, Indian Constitution, Rights and Duties. Constitution of India Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, to hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. The preamble of the Indian Constitution is given. In the preamble, it is declared that India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. It also ensures certain socio-political and economic objectives. Socio-economic and political justice. Provisions for achieving these objectives mentioned in the preamble are included in our Constitution. Important among them are fundamental rights, directive principles, fundamental duties. Fundamental rights. Rights which are integral part of a democratic society are ensured by India. Most important among them are included in Part 3 of our Constitution as a fundamental right. What are certain rights known as? Why are certain rights known as fundamental rights? Fundamental rights are those rights which cannot be denied to a person at any cost. They are inevitable for the holistic development of an individual. They are very essential for leading a dignified life. So the fundamental rights and the protections are very important in a democratic society. Did the people of India enjoy rights and liberty during British rule? You might have understood that the Indians had been denied many rights during the British rule. The Indian freedom movement repeatedly raised the demand for ensuring rights of the citizen. The most important among them was the Nehru Committee report of 1928. This report submitted a list of rights which are to be ensured to the people of India. The farmers of the Constitution prepared the fundamental rights based on the right aimed by the struggle of independence and recommended by Nehru Committee report. The Bill of Rights in the American Constitution also influenced the formulation of our fundamental rights. Observe the fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution as shown in the figure. There are 6 fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. That is right to equality, right to constitutional remedies, cultural and educational right, right to freedom of religion, right against exploitation, right to freedom. Right to equality, that is Human Right Association for demolishing the caste system in Madhyamapuram village. Delhi, various human rights associations urged the government to demolish the wall in the North Indian village of Madhyamapuram, which is constructed to prevent the entry of Dalit sections in the residential areas of the upper caste people. The discrimination in Mahodayapuram are not confined to caste alone. Denial to entry for women in streets and restaurants and no entry for outside villagers to this village were also in the news early. What are the different types of discriminations mentioned in the news above? Discrimination based on caste, gender inequality, discrimination based on place of birth. Our society is one which is having various inequalities and discriminations of various different types. Right to equality stands for abolishing these types of social inequality and to ensure equality. The idea included in the right to equality are given below. Ensure equality before law, prohibition of discrimination on the basis of caste, religion, race, sex, birth or place, etc. Ensure equality of opportunity in public employments, abolition of untouchability, abolition of titles. However, giving preference to women, children and backward classes is not against the right to equality. On the other hand, by giving preference, inequality can be avoided and equality can be established. Equality before law means that all are equal before the legal system. Whatever be the official position and powers, one should not be above the law. During the British regime, the Indian bureaucrats who helped to protect the interest of the British were given titles and positions. The Indian national movement opposed the misuse of such positions for the protection of colonial interest. Indian Constitution abolished such titles since they caused inequality. Right to freedom. The picture of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the architect of the Constitution of India, addressing the public and the peaceful gathering to listen the speech is given. These two are related to certain freedoms guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. Which are they? Freedom of speech and expression, freedom to assemble peacefully without arms. Beside these two rights, the following rights are also included in the freedom of right to freedom. Freedom to form association, freedom to travel anywhere in India, freedom to reside anywhere in India, freedom to carry out any occupation, trade or business, right to life and personal liberty, right to free and compulsory education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years, protection from arbitrary arrest and detention. Right to freedom is very important in a democratic state. The above mentioned fundamental right helped in empowering democratic culture in India. At the same time, all these are subject to restrictions. They cannot be enjoyed in such a way to cause threat to the unity and peaceful atmosphere of the country. No person can be denied life or liberty except through legal procedure based on the Constitution. This right cannot be denied even during the period of emergency. This right will help the people to prevent the autocratic tendencies of the rulers. Right against exploitation. Observe the figure. What can all understand from this? It is a picture of children who are working in a labor site. In India, there exist different types of exploitation, including child labor. We can see economic exploitation similar to slavery around us. The right against exploitation is concerned with the prohibition of this type of exploitation and equip the individuals for leading a dignified life. As per this right, forced labor and trafficking human beings are prohibited, employment of children in factories and other dangerous sectors are forbidden, right to freedom of religion. The government of a country like India, many religions can never function in the modern age without orienting to secularism. Our constitution is based on secular conception and gives religious freedom. Jawaharlal Nehru. Haven't you listened to the words of Jawaharlal Nehru, architect of modern India? What is meant by secularism? There is no official religion for India. India does not promote any religion, but religious freedom is ensured by the Constitution. Right to freedom to religion ensures the following: right to profess, practice, and propagate any religion, freedom to establish and maintain institutions to religious and charitable purposes, right against taxation for promoting a particular religion, at the same time, religious instructions in any educational institution wholly maintained by the state or receiving aid from the state is prohibited. Cultural and educational rights. Read the newspaper reports related to the rights of the minority sections. India is a land of diversity. It is inevitable to recognize and respect the diversity for maintaining the unity and development of the country. Hence, our constitution gives prime consideration for the protection of minority interest. Cultural and educational rights have been included in the constitution for the protection of the interest of the minority sections. According to this, the following aspects have been ensured by the minorities: protection to their language, script, and culture. Religious and linguistic minorities have the right to establish, administer educational institution to their choice. Right to constitutional remedies. You have understood the fundamental rights. Have you noticed a situation of the violation of any fundamental right? The Constitution proposes remedial measures if the fundamental rights were violated. This is known as the right to constitutional remedies. As per this right, if the fundamental rights are violated, an individual can approach either the Supreme Court or the High Court for enforcing them. Orders issued by the respective courts for the enforcement of the fundamental rights are known as writ. Listen to the words of the architect of the Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, about the right to constitutional remedies. If it was asked about the most important provisions in this constitution, my answer is the right to constitutional remedies. It is the heart and soul of Indian Constitution. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Writ. The Supreme Court and the High Court have the power to issue 5 types of writ for the protection of fundamental rights. They are habeas corpus, mandamus, quo warranto, certiorari, and prohibition. This verse makes us understand the importance and relevance of the right to constitutional remedies. Directive principle. Look at the college given. What are the areas mentioned in the college? Environment protection, The Constitution directs the central and the state government to organize and implement programs like the above, keeping the public welfare in mind. Such directives are included in Part 4 of the Indian Constitution as the directive principles, socio-economic, political programs which are helpful for the creation of the welfare state included in the directive principles. As the name indicates, all these are directions. These are the directives of the states which are to be considered while formulating policies and implementing plans. Certain rights which were impossible to be: free legal aid, equal pay for work, equal work to both men and women, protection to the educational and economic interests of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, ensuring international peace and security. Included in the fundamental rights are also included in directive principles. There is no provisions to approve the code for the enforcement of the directive principles. Several ideas of the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, have been included in the directive principles. Some of them are organization of Grama Panchayat, promotion of cottage industries, prohibition of intoxicating substance. There is an indivisible relationship between the fundamental right and directive principles. Directive principles are to be implemented for the realization of fundamental right in its full sense. As a criterion which help the evaluation of betterment of the governmental activities, no one can deny the importance of the directive principles. A welfare state aims to develop and implement policies for the welfare of all the people. Welfare states aim to provide protection and services for the uplift of the people as best as they can. A welfare state ensures the fair distribution of public resources, education, and health. I stand up with the national anthem that is being sung. Yes. I realize the historical monuments are to be protected. Yes. I try to foster cordiality among the people. Yes. I protect the unity and integrity of the nation. Yes. I try to protect the environment. Yes. Certain duties which we have to perform are given above. Checklist. Along with the enjoyment of the fundamental rights, fundamental duties are to be performed. Fundamental duties are included in Part 4A of the Constitution. Certain duties are to be performed by the citizen towards a state to protect the unity and integrity of the nation. These duties are known as the fundamental duties. When the state provides us right and protection, it is our duty to abide the Constitution, to develop cordiality among the citizens, and to provide help for the betterment of the nation. Accomplishing the fundamental duties in this manner will create a better society and its result will reach everyone. In fact, fundamental duties can be considered as a responsibility which the individual have to perform toward themselves. We have discussed the fundamental rights, directive principles, and fundamental duties. They have great influence on the survival of our nation and society. Through the fundamental rights and the directive principles, the nation tried to ensure maximum freedom and public welfare. Along with this, the duties which have to perform towards the state are prescribed in the fundamental duties. The nation can achieve unity and progress only through ensuring fundamental rights, implementing the directive principles, and fulfilling the fundamental duties. Indian Constitution rights and duties: rights, fundamental rights, right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural education right, right to constitutional remedies, directive principles, fundamental duties. That's all about this chapter. If you are interested, please do like, share, and subscribe my channel. Okay, thank you.